Chelsea could be ready to splash millions of pounds on one of our attackers. And Arsenal are sniffing around Sandro Tonali like we're still here to be raided. Hit subscribe and stick around, because the old guard are testing us again. And Newcastle can't afford to blink. According to Simon Phillips, Chelsea have shown interest in Nick Woltemade, and he also says Lewis Hall was mentioned again over the weekend, with Chelsea keen on him as a possible Marc Cucurella replacement. Phillips also says Chelsea asked about Sandro Tonalii and Bruno Guimaraes, and then the lads over at the Chelsea Forum are saying something even madder. They claim we've proposed a swap that would send Nick Woltemade to Chelsea and bring Liam Delap to St James's Park. How, man? Already? Now look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend Woltemade had the perfect season. He didn't. He arrived from Stuttgart in a club record deal worth up to £69 million, finished with 12 goals and 5 assists in 54 matches, and there were definitely moments where he looked stuck between positions. One week, he looked like the future. Next week, he looked like he was trying to work out where the gaffer actually wanted him on the pitch. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean we just hand him over to Chelsea like they're doing us a favour. Liam Delap joined Chelsea from Ipswich Town for £30 million last summer, and according to the report, he had 2 goals and 4 assists in 41 matches, with injuries playing a big part in that difficult season. So let's get this straight. Chelsea would be giving us a striker valued around £30 million, coming off a rough injury-hit campaign, and they'd be getting Woltemade, who the report says is viewed closer to £75 million. That's not a swap. That's Chelsea trying to walk into our house, nick the good plates, and leave us with a cracked mug. Chelsea want champagne for lemonade money, and we're not daft enough to pour it for them. And honestly, this is where I get a bit protective of our squad. Because we've spent years watching the old guard act like we're still the Newcastle from the Ashley era. Still there to be pushed around, still there to lose our best lads whenever someone from London snaps their fingers. Nah, not anymore. Woltemade might not have been mint every single week, but there's still a player there. Big frame, canny feet, different profile, and if we actually build some rhythm around him instead of moving him all over the place, who knows what he becomes? Right, so if Delap comes into the conversation, fair enough. I get the interest. There's a player in there too. Powerful, direct, young, hungry, boots full of potential if he stays fit. But the financial gap matters. The report even says that's the main issue for us. And it should be. Because if Chelsea want Woltemade, they don't get to dress it up as some tidy little exchange. They need to pay properly. The mad part is, Chelsea apparently haven't given a straight no to the idea. They've been more measured than that, according to the report. So maybe there's something in this, maybe there are other pieces that could be involved, maybe it's just transfer window chess. But I'll say this, we cannot let Chelsea come sniffing around Woltemade, Lewis Hall, Tonali and War Bruno in the same breath and act like that's normal. That's our squad, our future, our spine, our identity. And after what we've built, after the noise of SJP, after the ambition we've finally got back, we should be making it crystal clear. You don't raid Newcastle anymore. You negotiate with us properly, or you gan home empty-handed. So here's the question for the Toon Army, and I want honest answers. Would you take Liam Delap plus serious money for Nick Woltemade? Or would selling Woltemade after one difficult season make us look weak in front of Chelsea? I'm checking Toon News every day, so hit subscribe and don't get left behind. Sandro Tonali remains a target for Arsenal. Now look, that's the bit that should make every Newcastle fan put the pint down for a second. Because I can read all the names Arsenal are linked with. Buadi, Morgan Rogers, Eli Jr. Krupi, Christos Tsolis, all of that. Fine. Transfer window noise in it. But Sandro Tonali? Nah, that's different. That's not just another midfielder. That's not some tidy option to stick on a list and see what happens. That's one of our main lads, one of our classiest players, a proper engine in the middle of the pitch, a player who, when he's right, makes our whole squad look sharper, calmer, braver. And honestly, man, I can't stand the way the old guard still look at us sometimes. Like we're still that club from the Ashley era, sat there waiting for a so-called bigger club to come along, tap the table and say, "We'll take him." No, we're not that Newcastle anymore. If Arsenal are serious, they'll know exactly what Tonalii is. He's not cheap. He's not available just because they fancy him. And if anyone is throwing around numbers like £60 million in a conversation involving elite midfield talent, I'm sorry, but for Tonalii, that doesn't even get me standing up from the table. £60 million for Sandro Tonalii? Behave. But here's the thing. I do get why they'd want him. Of course they would. Any ambitious club would. He's elegant on the ball, sharp in the tackle, reads danger, moves it quickly, and he's got that continental calmness where he doesn't need to run around like a rajgaji just to prove he cares. He plays like he's already seen the past before everyone else has even opened their eyes. That's massive, that is. And what gets me is this. Arsenal are preparing for a massive season. They're trying to strengthen, they're looking at young talent, they're looking at proven quality, and suddenly, our player's name appears again. That tells you everything. The self-appointed elite can act like they don't rate our project. They can pretend we're not a threat. They can make their little comments. But when it comes to building their own squad, where do they look? At our lads. Tonalii isn't a discount code for the old guard. He's one of the reasons we believe again. Right, so from our side, this has to be simple. We protect him. We build around players like him. We don't start acting nervous because Arsenal's name is in a report. We don't start thinking, oh, well, maybe we should cash in. No chance. Because if we want to be serious, if we want nights at St. James Park where the Gallowgate is shaking and Europe feels like it belongs to us again, we need to keep our best players in the shirt. Were Bruno, Tonalii, the spine, the standards, the players who make other clubs uncomfortable. That's the point. We didn't fight our way out of 14 years of nothing just to become a talent shop for London clubs. And I'll say it straight. If Arsenal want Sandro Tonalii, they should be made to hear the most beautiful word in football, no. So here's my question for Newcastle fans, and I want proper debate in the comments. If Arsenal came in with silly money for Sandro Tonalii, would you even listen? Or is he one of the players we simply cannot sell at any price?
Perfect, perfect, perfect.